You know what? I had to address this. We had to do a video, Marcus and myself. We did a top 10 point guards list not long ago. How long ago was it? We did 4 days ago. We put out this video. And you know what? We did expect a little bit of backlash because, not all people are going to agree with our lists. But we got absolutely attacked in the comments for having Luka at number 1 ahead of Steph Curry. And, I got attacked by my mate the other day for saying Luka was the best player in the world. And I stand by that. And I'm not going to have the slander that we've received in the comments section from you guys. Not going to name any names. Or maybe I will. Actually, you know what? I will. No name JD2VO. Bruh, I get it's your podcast. Hopefully it stays with only you two. Luka better than Steph? ? Laughing emoji. Yeah, I do feel like Luka's better than Steph. What of it? If you don't like the comment, make your own podcast. But we're going to justify why we believe Luka is better than Steph. And I'm not saying that, we're slandering Steph in any way. And in this list, if you actually watch the video, we never slandered Steph. We said that he is one of the greatest players of all time. He's one of the greatest shooters of all time. And I stand by that. But we're talking about 2023. We're not talking about 2016. We're not talking about the years where he won, MVP and, he was the arguable best player in the entire world, which to this point he still could make a case for it. We're talking about right now 3 games into the season in 2023-24, okay? And who else is it? Beats by Rack C. Terrible list, brother. I don't know what type of NBA you're watching. Well, I do know what kind of NBA I'm watching, and if we want to go down that path, I bet you I know more about NBA than you, brother. So,
come on, bruh.
With all that being said, Marcus... what do you make of the whole Luka-Steph debate? And love to hear your insight because I've got my 2 cents on this, but I want to hear what you have to say first and what you make of all the backlash that we received for having Luka at number 1 ahead of Steph.
Firstly, it's absolutely disappointing and it's an absolute joke. Listen, I know there's a lot of Steph Curry fans out there, but you can't be that butthurt that we put Luka Doncic over Steph on a top 10 list for this season. We're not talking about Steph's career accolades. We know he's an NBA 5-time champion. We know he's a 2-time MVP, yeah, or 3? No, 3? 2-time?
2-time.
Yeah, we know he's a 2-time MVP. But this is Luka Doncic. The guy's 24 years of age. He's a 4-time All-NBA first-team player at 24 years of age. That's basically every single season. In fact, I think it is. Since his rookie year, he's made the first team.
Bar his rookie season. Yeah, correct.
What are we talking about, man? Actually, it's a joke. It's an actual joke. The fact that people aren't even open to Luka potentially being, well, for us, he's the best point guard in the league. But how can you not even be open to the discussion point that he could be better than Steph? You can't be that much against Luka to where it's oh no, Steph's number 1, Steph's number 1. It's a genuine debate, and if you're fully on Steph's side, there's no way to explain it but the fact that you only support Warriors basketball and you only like Steph Curry because the guy's a generational talent. He's one of the rare players who could potentially, own the 2020 era. We talk about goats of eras, LeBron, Kobe, Jordan, Kareem, etc. Luka could be that for this era. That's how good he is. So, yeah, that's a lot of energy. It was really, it was quite funny actually reading out the comments, I'm not going to lie. But at the same time, I'm trying to understand from both parties because, to me, I can't talk basketball with people who just don't use logical reasoning for both parties. You can't be all for a party and, you know what I mean? I'm just against something completely. You have to kind of be in between the lines or lean towards a certain point of view. But yeah, that's my stance on it.
Yeah, and you mentioned, Luka was a 4-time All-NBA first-team player since his rookie season. So out of the 5 seasons he's played, obviously they're going into his 6th season now, he's been an All-NBA first-team player 4 times. I want to ask you a question, give you a little trivia here. How many times do you think Steph Curry has been an All-NBA first-team player in his career, in his 14-year
It's got to be
career.
less than Luka. So it's got to be like, what? Or, fuck, nah, surely not, actually. Nah, I reckon it's probably 4.
Spot on the
Yeah.
money, brother. 4 times. And that's from 2009. He's only been a 4-time All-NBA first-team player. And mind you, he's been an All-NBA second team 4 times and 1-time All-NBA third team. So in total, 9 times. But that's since 2009. Luka has already had as many All-NBA first-team selections as Steph has since Steph has
Since
come
his
into the
rookie
league.
year.
So the fact that, since his rookie year, since 9 years longer has Steph's career gone on. Obviously, the 4-time NBA champion, an NBA Finals MVP, a 2-time Most Valuable Player, 9-time All-Star, a unanimous MVP. Like, the list goes on. Steph Curry, a tremendous player, a generational player, one of the greatest players the game has ever seen. That is without a doubt. I'm not disputing that. And that is one thing we will never, discredit. But, again, our list specifically was based off what he did last year, and Luka was a first-team All-NBA player last year. Steph was not. Also, Steph did not play as many games as Luka did last season, albeit the Warriors got to the playoffs, nearly made it to the Western Conference Finals, had that loss to the Lakers in the second round. Luka didn't make the playoffs, had a bit of an ordinary second half to the year, especially with the acquisition of Kyrie, which is a bit of a chemistry concern. But we're basing this off what they did last season as an individual and where we project him to be this season, at the end of the season. That's why we put that list together the way we did. And not only that, but I feel like we discredited what Luka did last year because his team didn't make the playoffs, because, he had a bit of that attitude issue towards the refs after certain calls were made or didn't go his way directly. He had obviously a bit of a sook to the ref and played up and, got a lot of technical fouls. I feel like his attitude has changed, but that maybe discredited what he did on the court. The man averaged 33, 8 and 8.
Yeah.
33, 8 and 8. I just want you to put that into perspective, how great those numbers are. And yes, my mate, I'm going to shout him out right now, Jesse, you Steph Curry bandwagoner. You're calling out Luka, saying that he's a James Harden ball hog and that style of play ain't going to win championships and he's done nothing in the playoffs. Hang on a second. Did he not single-handedly almost break up that Phoenix Suns team, which consisted of Chris Paul, Mikal Bridges, DeAndre Ayton, Cam Johnson, Devin Booker, and you're telling me that he's done nothing in the playoffs?
37
He literally
in the playoffs that year as well.
Yes. And he literally 30-balled them by the half. He literally had more points at the half than that whole Phoenix Suns team did in that game 7. And you're telling me that he's done nothing in the playoffs. He single-handedly nearly carried that weak-ass Mavs team in the bubble and the next year against the Clippers in back-to-back series. He didn't have KP, who let him down being injured and probably wasn't the best player at that time because he was probably a little bit egotistical towards Luka about being a second option. Then the next year, if it wasn't for an outworldly kind of performance from Kawhi Leonard in that series, which basically single-handedly won him that series itself, Luka would have got out of that series, and his whole perception about him being a winner in the playoffs before that Phoenix series, obviously, and getting to the Western Conference Finals, that would have changed entirely. I always continue to say this about Luka Doncic. I always say that this man here, had he not been on that Mavericks team, that team is a definite lottery team. They are picking in the lottery every year that he's not playing. And I don't care about people saying that he dribbles the clock out and then bails out with a step back 3, or, he passes out to a teammate when he's, in trouble. But to me, that's all irrelevant because he is one of the best on-ball shot creators. You'd much rather the ball in his hands than in someone else's. And the numbers don't lie this season either. He's averaging nearly a 40-point triple-double. The Mavs are 3-0. He single-handedly willed them back in 2 games against the Spurs and against the Brooklyn Nets, where he pulled off that remarkable bank shot, which a lot of people said it was a fluke, but he practices that in, day out. He practices trick shots at practice every single day that they're in the facility. And to me, like I said, he's the clear-cut number 1 player, not only at the point guard position, but to me, he's making a case to be the number 1 clear-cut player in the entire world. And again, my mate Jess, he made a claim about Luka saying all he does is score. Steph Curry's the most impactful player. Yet Luka's averaging more points, more rebounds, more assists, and he's averaging the same amount of steals. You could argue Steph's a better defender, and you could also argue the case that Steph Curry is a better scorer, shooter altogether. Obviously, he's a better shooter, but a better scorer. But to me, Luka right now is the best on-ball shot creator in the league. Steph is a lot better off the ball. And with the acquisition of Chris Paul, that's just making his life easier, coming off those pin downs, coming off the screen set by the bigs, and him being able to curl off those and get any shot at will. He can still create on the ball. I'm not
He's Steph Curry,
saying anything like that, but just he's Steph Curry at the end of the day. And again, he's had one of the most incredible careers. He does it efficiently. He doesn't need a lot of shots, and he can turn the game in a matter of seconds. But for Luka to only be 24 years of age and to be achieving what he's doing and achieving what he's achieving right now and doing what he's doing on the NBA hardwood night in, night out, it can't be discredited. And like I said, if you want to come at us in the comments, I'm happy for you to do that, and we can have an analytical argument and conversation about this with factual evidence and backing it up with stats and proven evidence. But if you're just going to come out and attack us, that's fine, but be better than that, because we're out here making content. We hope you guys like what we say, and again, it's all opinion based. We always make a disclaimer at the start of our videos. We always say we make these lists with the basis that it's our opinion and it's what we believe. But you don't have to come out and attack us because your favourite player might have been left off a list, or your favourite player was put behind somebody else, or we make a claim about a certain player being better than someone else, and you guys come out and attack us saying we don't know basketball, we shouldn't have a podcast, blah, blah, blah. It's not going to deter us from making videos, hence why I'm doing this video right now. But I'm just saying, just be better. And that's what we just did then. We proved wholeheartedly right now why Luka is the better player than Steph Curry. And again, it's very close. It's not as wide of a margin as people may think. But Luka Doncic is a sicko on the basketball court right now, and the only thing stopping him is himself. And that's all I've got to say. I've wrapped it up. I think I've gone on an absolute rampage right now, but I'll let you round it out, Marcus.
Well, ultimately, my 2 cents or my stance on it is that, if you think Steph's better, you think Steph's better. That's absolutely fine. Think that. That's cool with me. But just have logical reasoning and an understanding for why other people might have a guy like Luka ahead of Steph. It's not because Steph's a bad player. It's not because we hate Steph. We like Steph. It's just we think someone else is better, and that's completely fine. We have a logical reasoning for why we do think that, and it goes from last season, obviously. It goes from the last 3 years where he has been a first-team All-NBA player. Let's not forget that. But when we do compare players moving forward, let's kind of go the route of we're not comparing their careers as a whole. Obviously, you cannot compete with Steph Curry's career.
Exactly.
We're comparing them right now. So we're not talking about all those championships and all those MVPs. We're talking about right now, and we're using, I guess, Luka's career, which is 4 or 5 seasons. Absolutely nothing compared to Steph Curry. You can't even compare careers yet. Luka hasn't even played he's played a quarter of Steph's career or less. So if you go that route, you just stop. We can't talk to you if you do go that route, because there's no other way we can even justify why. It's just unfair at that point. But I feel like we summed it up pretty well. We use reasonable justification for why we think what we think, but we're not against Stephen Curry. We still think he could be better than Luka, I guess, this season. There's no doubt he could. He's Steph Curry at the end of the day. He's a hell of a talent, but yeah, Luka's a man on a mission, and it's looking more and more likely that, he is the best player in the world. And if that's a problem, it's what can we do about it? He's a killer. What more do you want out the guy?
100%. And for anyone who says he can't perform in the playoffs, this is the last point I'm going to make. For anyone who's saying he can't perform in the playoffs, he's had 28 games in the playoffs, which to me is a substantial sample size.
5 seasons.
We're nearly talking about
good.
it. Yeah. 28 games, averaged 33 points, 9 boards, 8 assists over that playoff run that he had in those 28 games. 47% from the field, nearly 37% from three on 10 attempts per game. And again, taking his team to the Western Conference Finals, taking his team nearly over the line against a really solid Clippers team, a healthy Clippers team at that time with prime Paul George and Kawhi prior to these injuries taking place. So he ran into a brick wall in that sense, but he didn't have any help. So the fact that he nearly willed him over the line just shows that he isn't James Harden 2.0. He is a proven playoff performer, and when the lights shine the brightest, he wants that big moment. I don't feel like James Harden wants that moment when the lights shine the brightest, and we've seen it time and time again in big playoff moments. He has performed quite well, James Harden that is, but a lot of times he has shat the bed and has obviously, as a result of that, his team has ultimately fallen at the last hurdle or at that, prime point where they do need him to perform at his best. So again, that Luka and James Harden comparison needs to stop as well. Again, I get that they have that step back. I get that they, are both great playmakers, facilitators, and they love to dribble out the shot clock. But I feel like what Luka offers right now is greater than what James Harden offered in those periods of time, because he loves to get his teammates involved despite the narrative that's put in front of him. So, like I said, that's the last thing I'm going to say. I'm going to wrap it up. From your boy Danko from the Bench Mob, that's all I'm going to say. I'm going to let you wrap it up,
from
Marcus.
The Bench Mob. At the end of the day, if you want smoke, we'll be down to get smoke as well. Fuck, why do you think we made this video at the end of the day? You know what I mean? We're down. If we disagree, we disagree. It is what it is. We don't have anything against you guys. We don't have any endeavor against Steph Curry. We just thought it's logical, and we think the disrespect towards Luka, it's getting a bit too much. So it is what it is. We had to do what has been done, and yeah, make sure if you guys did maybe you didn't actually. If you're probably a Steph Curry fan, you probably didn't like this. But yeah, usually we'll say give it a like. But hey, give it a dislike if you really want to. We won't mind. We've already seen.
Stay tuned for that. Those Bench Mob, all the smoke. We want all the smoke hoodies coming soon. Giving us a great merch idea, guys. So stay tuned for that, and stay tuned for the 1,000 subscriber giveaway once we do hit 1,000 subs. We're 92 away. Hit that sub button. Whether you like our content or whether you want to come and slander us, we're all for it. So yeah, enjoy, guys, and stay safe. Peace.
Hello, yes, you at home. This is Commissioner of the NBA speaking to you, Adam Silver. Here's a message in courtesy of Bench Mob in collaboration with the NBA Store. When Bench Mob hits 1,000 subscribers, they'll be giving away a free NBA jersey to a lucky subscriber, so just do all the things listed on the screen.